It's the second episode of Valley Chats, where we talk to members of the Mat-Su Miners. I'm your host, Jesse Cook, and today's guest is second baseman Nolan Tucker. And how you feeling today now that the sun is out after a week of gray?
Oh, it's great. It's great. They've been telling me all summer how it's always sunny here, and I haven't really seen it. So now that it's actually sunny, it's awesome.
Yeah, isn't it nice to actually see the mountains now?
Yeah, it's great. That's also been great. Yeah.
And you've been playing well for Mat-Su. You're the everyday second baseman. We go all the way back to the Kenai trip. You led off that series with a triple. What have you been doing well with the bat?
I think something I've been doing well is kind of cutting down on chases, just kind of trying to stay in the zone. I've had a hard time kind of getting in a groove, but it's kind of every day just find a pitch, second hit, and trying to put good swings on them.
And something that we've seen grow across the team is two-strike hitting, defending the plate with two strikes. And the first guy that we really saw protect the plate well was you. What's your philosophy in those two-strike counts?
Yeah, with two strikes, I'm not trying to do too much. So I'm trying to look for something that kind of helps me cover every pitch. So for me, that's kind of seeing a fastball deep and trusting my hands and adjusting to off-speed. So by doing that, I think I've done good at cutting down strikeouts.
Now for Valley Chats, it's more about getting to know the individual players rather than their stats. And I looked through a bunch of articles and stuff in your Valparaiso page, and I saw that you have a special talent for both juggling and walking on your hands.
Yeah, I can do both. Yes, sir.
Do you do those at the same time?
I can't do them at the same time. No, I'd be in the circus if I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty difficult. Do you have any, how did you discover that you could do those things?
So the way I am with things is when there's something I can't do, it kind of bothers me. So I spend all of my time and resources into doing it until I can do it. So there's a lot of weird things I can do just because it would kind of piss me off that I couldn't do them.
Well, I guess it's probably a good philosophy to have when you're playing baseball, because say you can't hit an 0-2 curveball. Yeah. Figure it out, and now you hit an 0-2 curveball.
Yep, yes, sir.
Do you have any other funky talents like that?
It's just weird things. Sound effects with my mouth that my friends could do it, I couldn't, so I had to figure out how to do it. I was awful at bags, or some people call it cornhole. It's called bags, though. So I bought a set and played in my basement for like 8 hours a day every day until I was good and could beat my friends. Just kind of dumb little things that drives me crazy if I'm not good at them.
Wait, what are the sound effects?
I can make I can flick my cheek and it makes like a weird bubbly noise kind of thing.
Can we get a demonstration?
It's been a while, but I can try. Let me see here. Yeah, right there, if you can hear that.
That's something else. So it sounds like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, kind of a little drop, yeah. Yep.
Now, you just transferred from Valparaiso to Southern Mississippi, and that's arguably a better division of baseball. So what went into that recruiting process, and how was that being in the transfer portal?
Yeah, the transfer portal was crazy. It was definitely not what I expected. You talk to a lot more schools than you think, and you get a lot less offers than you think. So it's definitely a weird process, kind of stressful. But then Southern Miss, super happy to get down there. I had an opportunity with Valpa to play them this year in a series, and just the environment and everything was great. And I was fortunate enough to have a good weekend, and I think that kind of led to me ending up there this year.
So what did you like about Southern Miss as opposed to any of the other schools looking your way?
Yeah, Southern Miss was cool because baseball's it's so important down there. You've got 5,000-6,000 fans a game, even more for big games for them. They have a cannon they shoot off or something like that when there's a home run. So just the fans and atmosphere are nuts, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Just for reference, Herman Brothers Field gets a pretty good crowd every game, fills every seat, and that's only about 1,200 fans. Yeah. So you're quintupling your audience as opposed to summer ball.
Yes, sir, pretty much, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And in Southern Miss, what do you think makes them stand out as a baseball program beyond the fans and the sound effects in the game?
Well, the big thing is they win. I think they're the only team to have 40-plus wins the past 7 seasons. So, when you're winning at a rate like that, I think there's a lot that goes into it. I'm sure the coaching's great. I'm sure they do a lot of the little things right. They probably do things differently than a lot of other schools. So, it was, for my last year, I definitely want to go somewhere that finds success, and I think this is the school for that.
Well, congrats on that. This is Nolan Tucker, Jesse Cook, Valley Chats Episode 2 for the Mat-Su Miners Baseball Network. And you're leaving Valparaiso now. You've got two teammates here from Valpo, and Alex Thurston and Caleb Hannes. What's your relationship like them this summer?
Oh, it's great. They're two of my best friends from school. Having another 30 games to play with them means the world to me. I love all my teammates at Valpo. I wish I could play with them all again, but especially those two fellow infielders, good friends of mine. Like it's been awesome to be able to get a few more games with them.
Do you have any favorite Valpo memories?
Favorite Valpo memories? It's honestly a lot of the stuff you wouldn't expect. It's like a lot of the bus rides, a lot of the nights hanging out with the team, just kind of dumb little things like that. But those are the things, you really remember.
And do you know anyone at Southern Miss, or are you going to be a totally new face there?
Totally new face. I mean, like I said, I played them, but outside of that, I didn't go on a visit there. I was up in Alaska when I committed there, so I'll just be showing up like, hey.
Yeah, you were up here in Alaska when you committed over the weekend.
Yeah, over the weekend. Yes,
so
sir.
What was that recruitment process like, being so far removed from the team itself?
Yeah, I mean, I've made a good amount of calls from up here, so it's just kind of been a very weird thing. If you're trying to do your own research, you're trying to, figure out what every place has to offer, and then, the opportunity was right with Southern Miss, and that's kind of what led to that.
And so you've developed your swing up here with the coaching staff, Ty LeBrun, Steve Hecker, and hitting coach Kyle Watson. Can you talk about what K-Dub brings as a hitting coach that's helped you?
Oh, definitely, yeah. K-Dub's great. Whether it's little adjustments or in BP, whether it's in your prep work, your game work, he's always kind of there to try and get you back on the right track. And, if nothing else, he's going to tell you what he sees and tell it as it is. And, I think he's been a huge resource to this team.
I watched him throwing BP to Caleb Hannes, and it wasn't any over-the-shoulder stuff just from behind the screen. It was more lobbing it from in close. And even then, Hannes was taking pitches, and K-Dub was commenting on whether or not it was a good take from less than 60 feet away.
Oh, yeah.
Half the distance of a major league mound, or the mound you use here. Is he different from other coaches?
Yeah, I would say, the thing that's different about K-Dub compared to a lot of coaches, he just cares so much, He's taken on, 20 new hitters he's never met before. He honestly doesn't really owe us anything, but he goes out of his way to show us he cares, and, he puts a lot of time into us, and I think we can all appreciate that.
Gotta love that out of a coaching staff. And I talked to your battery mate in the middle infield, Emilio Barreras, yesterday, and he had a lot of great things to say about head coach Ty LeBrun, how he's a player's coach. How do you think he backs that up?
Yeah, he definitely backs that up. I think when you have a player's coach that all the players are tight with, everyone loves him, he can joke around with the guys, and then at the same time you're winning games, there's not much more you want out of a head coach. So he's done a great job this summer, and he's definitely done a great job the past few summers with the team.
Nolan Tucker, Jesse Cook, Valley Chats, Episode 2. Now, moving to your high school days, you weren't just a baseball player, you were also an all-conference champion wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think that translated to your play on the ball field?
Yeah, so I was kind of raised in mixed martial arts. My dad just kind of always put me in it, and wrestling's the one I really stuck with for probably a good 8-10 years, most of my life. And I think there's a lot of lessons you learn from wrestling that kind of makes it different from other sports. It's when you're on that mat, it's you and the other guy. There's no one else to help you. There's no one else you can call to for help. It's just kind of you and your opponent. So, the lessons I learned in wrestling mainly are, hard work, determination, things like that. But those are life skills, not just baseball skills, that kind of, have really impacted my baseball life as well.
So wrestling teaches you individuality. Are there any other team sports that you played?
Not really. Not successfully, at least. Played soccer when I was like 5, but everyone does. But yeah, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. I've done judo, jiu-jitsu for quite a few years, and then I wrestled, like I said, most of my life. So I was kind of raised in mixed martial arts, yeah.
Have you needed any of those wrestling moves?
No, never.
But you can pull them out if necessary.
If necessary, I would like to think, yeah.
Don't mess with this guy. He's got the moves. So wrestling on the mat, Taekwondo, it's a lot of different types of physical strength. I mean, baseball players, pitchers need lots of leg strength, hitters need a lot of hip strength. Wrestling, it's like using every muscle in your body.
Yeah, definitely it is. It's something where, wrestling strength is not the same as weight room strength. If you can squat 500 pounds or bench 400 pounds, you get on a wrestling mat, you're still going to feel weak. It's kind of a different kind of strength. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's different. Has it changed your footwork in the field at all? Footwork, I would say maybe a little bit, but I think the one thing is that kind of strength. It's kind of like a dynamic strength, so it's kind of moving in different sorts of ways and being strong through those movements. And I think that's something that actually is carried over to kind of throwing and hitting. You know, kind of those weird dynamic movements, having strength through them. I think that's strength that I've gained through mixed martial arts and wrestling specifically.
So that's a lot of physical movement that a lot of baseball players aren't used to, aren't familiar with.
Yeah.
I mean, baseball is a different sport than pretty much anything else. It requires different strength. It's not the same agility that you might need on the soccer field or anything like that. What do you think makes you unique as a ball player?
I think, you know, me specifically, it's probably my attention to detail. Like I said, it kind of stems from if there's something I'm not good at, I'm going to find a way to be good at it. So, you know, I've not always been the best hitter, but it was one thing where it's like, you know, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to become better. Same with fielding, same with running, same with, you know, kind of anything. So I don't think I'm a freak athlete or, you know, I don't think I'm raw talented, nothing like that. It's just kind of been, you know, my attention to detail and willing to put in work to, you know, see those benefits pay off.
This is Nolan Tucker with Jesse Cook, Valley Chats. Now, that mentality of trying to hone your skills and be better at something that you haven't learned yet, that's a learned trait. Who do you think you get that from?
Probably my father. He definitely a hard worker, probably too hard of a worker. It's a little crazy, but I think the way I was raised with him is he always told me there's no point in doing something if you're not going to do it to your fullest ability. You know, whether that's cleaning the bathroom, sweeping the floor, like if you're going to do it right. So I think that's definitely something that's carried into other aspects of my life.
So who would you say is your biggest influence then?
My biggest influence? It'd be hard to pick one. You know, I've been surrounded by so many great people, friends, family, coaches, mentors, teachers, just kind of, you know, I wouldn't be where I am without a lot of people. But like I said, that kind of nitty-gritty work ethic thing definitely comes from my dad.
Well, that's always important in the home stretch of the season. You got 4 more games to play before the playoffs, going up against both Anchorage teams at Mulcahy Stadium, walking into a foreign environment. What's the team's mindset?
Win. You know, I think the whole team believes that we're the best team in the league, and I think there's been a lot of times we've shown that. And, you know, if we can take a few of the next 4, or maybe even all 4, you know, on the road games against, you know, 2 other good ball clubs, I think it's just going to prove to us and to them going into the playoffs that we're the top team here.
Mentality for the Miners is win, thinking like they're the top team, and right now you guys are a half game ahead of the Glacier Pilots, going up against the Bucks tonight. That's Nolan Tucker. I'm Jesse Cook. Thank you so much for watching, and Nolan, thank you so much as well.
Of course, thank you. Thank you.
This has been episode 2 of Valley Chats.